Welcome to the Full Minded with Alyssa Bette podcast, where my mission is to normalize the human experience. I believe there's power in authenticity and building a community immersed in it. I plan on bringing you on an in-depth and transparent journey of my life through solo episodes. I will also be interviewing a range of individuals who are willing to share their unique stories. On this podcast, we will dive into topics such as mental health, heartbreak, loss, change, trauma, self-love, and every other topic that makes up the human experience. While I do my very best to provide you insight and knowledge on these subject matters, this podcast is not a substitute for professional help. I am not a licensed therapist. I am simply a human sharing my experiences with the intent to help people feel less alone. If you are suffering, please consult with a licensed professional. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoy the episode. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm excited because today I have one of my friends that I've met while traveling here with me today. Another survivor of the Bali experience. Marie, welcome. So happy you're alive.
Thank you. Me too.
Oh my God. So Marie and I met a couple weeks ago when I moved into one of the guest houses, and she has been living there for, how long have you been there?
This time it's my second month, but yeah. I already stayed there last time when I came to Bali.
Yeah.
For 3 months last time.
I know. And we've been bonding over our sicknesses. Marie's had tonsillitis. She's been very ill. I've been very ill, as you know, if you've been following along on my journey. And we've just bonded over that. And I feel like as soon as I seen you, you just radiated an energy about you that was just like, it was beautiful. I knew I liked you even before I met you, but then I met you and we just had, I think our first deep conversation was about sobriety and about alcoholism and about just like alcohol being pushed on so many different societies. Yeah. She's from Belgium and she also feels like it's very, like it's just very common to be drinking.
Yeah, it's so big in Belgium. It's like, I feel like you have to drink. If you don't drink, it's kind of like not normal.
I know. And you're like, you were saying that you've experienced some judgment if you're like, oh, I don't want to drink that much.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to black out. And people are like, what?
Why not?
Why don't you want to poison yourself?
Why do you want memories from a night?
No shit, eh? So that was our first conversation. And then we segued into some other stuff with just sexual assault and just things that we've been through as women, traveling solo and just existing in a world full of men that are not always respectful of women. So I feel like I low-key wish I was recording all of our conversations because they've just been so beautiful. I think you're definitely, without a doubt, one of my most favorite people that I've ever met while traveling.
Oh,
I don't think I've told you that. Yeah. No, I love you. You're wonderful. And as you guys know, I opened up a question box last week being like, help me with a topic because I just couldn't decide what to pick. And you guys did suggest some lovely things. But I feel like unless I'm in the mood to talk about it, it's hard for me to be authentic and speak about it. So I really wanted to just kind of wing it. And I asked Marie, we were hanging out today, and I was like, do you want to just come on my podcast and we'll just talk some shit? Say some things. So she actually suggested, she has a book called 3,000 Questions About Me. We are not going to ask 3,000 questions today, but a handful of them. I think we're not preparing it at all. We're just going to flip open the book, and then whatever question it lands on, we're going to ask the other person, and we're just going to kind of go from there. Do you want to ask a question first, or do you want to be asked a question first? What's the vibe?
Ask me a question first.
All right, baby. We're opening the book.
Let's go.
Can you easily move forward after being hurt?
Oh. I don't know, actually. Can I? I feel like I want to because I try to be like a kind person and I want to, and I try to understand what people go through or why they did this action. But if I have to be like 100% honest, it's true that sometimes I do as if I was able to, but I still keep in mind that you did that to me, or if you disappointed me like 1 time, 2 times, I'm gonna remember it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't mean we cannot be friends anymore.
Totally.
It can happen, and I know that I screw up sometimes too. We are only humans, of course. But yeah, I don't keep track, but you know.
Totally. Do you feel like you can like forgive and you don't feel like you can forgive and forget? You feel like you would forgive, but then be mindful that that's how they hurt you. Okay.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Because also my feelings are so strong that I cannot forget about it.
Yeah.
If you really hurt me.
Yeah. You are a very much like a deep empathetic person who feels things like on a different level. And I feel like that's another thing that we've connected on is just like we feel hard, we love hard, we feel like so deeply. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Exactly.
But I feel like, I was thinking about this the other day, I don't think I would change it because of the love, the good feelings, the good moments. Sometimes it feels like I'm on drugs because I'm just so happy and so in love and I'm just like eating an ice cream. It's just like such a simple thing. But the downside is obviously the heartbreak when people betray us, when they hurt us. It's hard, but...
And I feel like you wouldn't be you if you were not like that.
I know,
you know?
True.
Even all the things that you achieved, like personally, but business-wise too, if you were not that...
passionate and like filled with, totally. I don't think I would be as successful as I am because the reason I do so well is because there's so much passion and love behind it. So that's fair. I like that. All right, baby, flip open the book and ask me something.
I'm just so afraid I'm gonna read a sentence and not understand.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's so cool that you speak multiple languages. Nobody's judging.
You're
trying. Tell me.
What promise?
Promise, yeah.
What promise have you broken?
To myself, or does it specify?
No.
Or in general?
No, nothing is written after that, so... What's the first thing you thought?
I think the first thing that my mind goes to is like that I've accepted less than I deserve many times. And I think every time I promise myself that I'm not going to again, am I going to cry?
You can.
I know. Every time I'm like, we're not going to accept that again. We're not going to accept the breadcrumbs. We're not going to accept, like, he just held a door open for you. It's not that great.
Not that big.
It's not that big. And I think, just sometimes giving people the benefit of the doubt when they've hurt me so many times and being a bit of a fool to that. I think that's the biggest and continuous promise that I've broken over the span of my life. But I will say in the last 2 years, I've really stepped up my self-love game and been like, no one shall pass.
Okay.
No, I'm not accepting this anymore. But that's like off the top of my head without kind of digging into that question too deep. I feel like I've definitely broken that promise to myself. We're going to do better. We're going to not settle. And then I'm like, affection, love, you know?
But do you feel like you do it right away, or you realize it right away, or you realize it after a while, like, oh my God, how did I end up in this situation again? Or
that's a good question. I feel like after a while.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm really blinded by love sometimes. I think we all are. We all want to see the best. I know you do want to see the best in people too. I think that comes from us loving so hard and having big hearts. And then I usually end up hurt in a situation, and then that's kind of when I assess it all and I'm like, what? I usually don't really understand the magnitude of it until I'm out of it, because I think when I'm in a situation I have a bit of the blinders on. So until I'm better at, like, hindsight's 20/20 obviously, you know?
Yeah.
And when I'm out of it, I feel like I can definitely assess it more. But that's a good question. I like that.
I know.
I like that. Okay.
I'm good with that.
You are. You did great. Okay, let me see.
Can I drink, actually?
Yeah, you can drink water, of course. Not on this podcast.
Only vodka.
Okay. Do you think happiness is a choice?
I think it is. I think it really is. And it's funny because I feel like that's what you've been trying to teach me.
Yeah, true, eh? True.
Yeah. I think before, a few years ago, I would have said no, not at all. It just happens to you or it doesn't. Or things happen to you and based on that you're happy or unhappy. But no, I think lately I understood that you wake up every day and you decide how you're going to feel.
Yeah.
Of course, there are some like things you cannot control, for instance, our health and or the weather and stuff like that, but you can just decide how you're gonna feel about it. For instance, the first weeks I was in Bali, the weather was not that good because it was the beginning. It was supposed to be the end of rainy season and I arrived at the beginning, so I was like, fuck my life. I could have stayed in Belgium for the rain.
Yeah,
I don't need to come in Bali. And so, the first days when it was raining, I was feeling really sad and anxious because my mood depends a lot on the weather.
Same, yeah.
It's so annoying.
I like to pretend it doesn't, and then if the sun comes out and I'm like, life is worth living. See? Maybe love is real. Maybe I just needed a ray of sun in my eye. Like, that was it.
But so it's so annoying when it rains. And so I don't know, I got depressed and stuff. And after a few days, I was like, okay, Marie, you're in Bali, you're gonna start doing that. And so I started to do paperwork during the time when it was raining and stuff. And you just need to trick your brain a little bit and decide that, or you're gonna cry in bed and feel depressed, which I did the first few days, to be honest. And then I was like, okay, are you gonna do that for weeks, or are you gonna decide to spend that time doing something you have to do anyways? So.
Totally. And I think that was one of the conversations we had in the pool the first day. I was like, because I've been liking to ask people these questions, especially when traveling, to just get different cultures, different perspectives, different genders, like everyone just kind of giving their input. And I asked you, when you wake up in the morning, and you say it's going to be a good day today, is it a good day when you say that? Or do you feel like you're someone who, no matter how well you start your morning off, it can just fluctuate, kind of like waves? And you were one of the first people that I've met, at least on this trip, that said it's waves. Because I also feel the same way. Like, I can wake up in a good mood, and then I just all of a sudden like my mood will just drop, and I don't even know why. Sometimes the sun's out, I'm in Bali, like I'm happy, I'm healthy, like what? So I think it's interesting, and I think sometimes people with mental health conditions struggle with keeping regulated more. I think some people that are neurotypical, they can be like, I'm having a good day, boom, and it's a good day. And it's a luxury if you can do that. It really is something that you shouldn't take for granted, because it is hard in a world of people that don't understand it and are just like, be happy. But I also agree with the piece of that, things can happen to you, and your perspective is a huge play. Like what happened to me medically while here, and you medically, we can sit in that and say, fuck this is shit, this is, and I've had my moments of both where I almost left. I was like, fuck this, Bali's not for me, I'm not having an eat, pray, or love moment. Not to be fair, I was eating a lot still, but the other shit I wasn't getting, and I wasn't getting this like healing spiritual journey that I imagined. But then I thought, what if this is it? What if I'm meant to be tested, pushed to my limits, broken down, crying, purging? What if this is what I wanted? But I think sometimes we imagine it to be much different than maybe the way that we've wanted it to be, or we imagine it unfolding, I feel like...
I also feel like, I don't know about you, but I used to think that when you have lows, that you have highs, and then you have a big low, and then high again. And for instance, with just a basic day, I understand that I can be really high and then have a low, and then be high again, and then a big low. And I think my goal right now is just to accept it, and of course try to drag myself to the high as much as possible. But I think that this past week, I've been trying to not feel guilty about feeling low sometimes in Bali, because I think it's actually linked with all the things we said before, like with the weather and stuff. I don't know, I was feeling so guilty about the fact that I felt depressed and low sometimes while I was in Bali. How can I complain? The weather is good. I have everything I could ask for, and that kind of stuff. But sometimes it's just how it is. And like you said, I think with the things we are struggling to, it might be harder to just be on a high all the time, and it's impossible anyway. It
is impossible. I even think trying to chase happiness is not really the goal for me. It's peace. Because happiness is one emotion out of the millions that there are. So whereas peace, I feel like, is a state of being. If you have peace, you can be in anger, you can be in sadness, and you can be in joy and still remain peaceful. But I feel like if you're chasing happiness, that's just one, like, you can't be happy all the time. That's just crazy.
And deleting the lows is not possible. And
correct.
How can you feel the highs if you don't feel the lows anymore?
Absolutely.
So I feel like I still want to feel the lows, but like you said, I want to be more in peace while having the lows. I want to be able to handle them in a better way.
Because that's where I feel like a lot of our skills come into play. That's where your character's built. It's not in the easy moments.
So true.
It's when you're being tested.
That's so true.
Right? I love that. Whose turn was it? I forget. Who asked the last question? I think you asked me. I think. I think I just asked you. Yep.
Okay. Okay, this.
I like this. This is cool. I like this book.
What do you need more of? That's deep.
I like this.
There are some stupid questions.
Yeah, but no, these are...
No, those ones are good.
Ooh. Grace. To myself.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm I'm the first person to tell everyone, you better be nice to yourself. You better be kind. I better not see you speaking down about yourself. But I'm also the first person to be like, you didn't get enough work done today. You don't look that cute. Okay. You fucking ate like shit today. Like can be very mean to myself and judgmental. And I'm working on that. And honestly, this trip in Bali has been good for that because I feel like I've been tested a lot and I've had to just be like, okay, girl, it's not what it's, what you've imagined. It's going to be even better. So I feel like it's teaching me that skill, but I definitely feel like, grace.
Would you say that you're your best enemy? Worst enemy? I don't know how you say it in English.
I know what you're meaning.
How do you say that?
I think you're saying it right. My worst enemy. I know what you're meaning. Sometimes in moments, I used to be.
Okay.
I was so vicious to myself. And obviously, when I think I read you some notes from my past really when I was really, really depressed.
Yeah, really
and I was I was abusive to myself. Yeah. Obviously, I was self-harming physically. I was drinking, which is also a form of self-harm, especially when you're doing it in that capacity, and doing drugs and just having risky sex with people I didn't know or trust. Like there was many forms of self-harm. So I would say, I used to be my biggest enemy, but now
That's so interesting. I've never seen that as self-harm, but it is.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Okay.
Totally.
Sorry.
It's okay. Especially because I feel like a lot of times, I had this conversation with one of my friends one time, and I was like, would you hook up with that person? You know what I mean? And he was like, no, I wouldn't, but if I was drunk, I would. And I was like, ooh, that's powerful. Not in a good way.
No.
That just means that you're lowering your vibration enough that you would be attracted to them, but that's not actually your authentic self. That's a poisoned version of you. So I think when I was a poisoned version of myself, I had no limits. I couldn't even feel the pain the same. So I would, trigger warning, I would cut deeper and I would drink harder and I would just, accept less and less and less. So it was a dark time.
Yeah.
But we out here, we healing, we sober, we're good. We're getting better one day at a time. Okay, let me see. Have you ever hit rock bottom? Right here.
This week?
Is that rock bottom right now? We are recording live from rock bottom.
Really deep, really dark. Yes, I have several times.
Yeah.
But I feel like this time, to be honest, it's different because I feel like, I'm touching the ground and then I try to go a little bit up and then I fall again. This time is different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Like different in a worse way?
Not worse. I think I've seen worse. I've seen way worse than right now.
Yep.
For sure. But it's just, I feel like those last times I was able to just put, how do you say that,
Like focus or...
Like on the horses.
Oh, like the blinders?
Blinders, exactly. I was able to put blinders on and just continue and go through the thing. And it's once I was over with this situation or with that period that I was like, oh my God, I've been through that. And I was able to go through this. I don't know how, but usually that's how I did it. Put blinders on, don't feel anything. And this time it's really different because actually it's the opposite. I feel things so deeply. And I think it's also because I met you guys, for instance, I'm talking a lot about all of this. So I feel like I acknowledge what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And it's so different because those last few times I just didn't talk about it with people. I just went through it. So I think it was kind of easier to go through it. But I have traumas because of this and things I still need to work on.
Yeah.
And this time it's different. It's hard. And it's health related, so it's also different for me. It's kind of the first
And you're in a
time.
foreign country too, which adds like that.
Yeah, but all the other times that was in
as well.
in a foreign countries too.
Okay, so that's
I'm
not
used
bad.
to. I'm used to struggle in English. It's okay. In French too, but in English, but in English. But yeah, this time it's just different. Different way of trying to handling it.
Yeah. Totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was funny. I knew it as I was asking. I'm like, yeah, we're in rock bottom right now. I'm not necessarily in rock bottom. You're in rock bottom. That's what I'm meaning. I'm up.
How was your last time actually?
In rock bottom?
Yeah.
When or how was it? Or both, I guess.
Both. When was it and how was it?
My last rock bottom would have been... Ooh, it was a dark night. Would have been when I was living in Texas.
Okay.
And I was with my ex, and it was actually the last night that I put alcohol to my mouth. I've not drank because of this night, and it was very triggering. My ex did some pretty triggering things, and I should not have been drinking because I was struggling with suicide ideation at that point, and I drank regardless. I went against my intuition and my gut feeling, so it was a combined effort. And we got into a very toxic argument, and I wanted to kill myself. And I remember running off and just like rocking back and forth. I was like sitting in the mud, middle of the night, like in Austin, Texas, just wanting to die. And that was like, oh, there's so much to that night that I wouldn't, not ready to share, but it was really dark. And that was the last time that I was like, I cannot allow myself to be this dark again. Mm-hmm. I know life is hard, but I was making it significantly harder by putting myself in maybe in relationships that weren't the best for me, and staying when maybe I shouldn't, and also drinking when I should be sober. Yeah. Because of how deeply I feel things, and because of my BPD, they advise you not to drink or do drugs because you already have like a satellite dish size of emotions, right? So it's like the size of NASA when you drink, which is very big. I've not seen it, but I imagine it's very big. So that's the last time.
Okay.
Do you want to share your last time in rock bottom? Or do you feel comfortable with what you've shared already?
Maybe not this time.
Okay, sounds
Maybe
good.
Another time.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You go ahead and ask me.
Okay. I'm gonna change my position.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sitting like a mermaid.
Yep. Come a bit closer. Perfect.
Okay. Oh, I like this one actually.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Because at first it can look not that deep, but wait a sec. Are you scared of the dark?
Ooh, I feel like we read that the same way. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, actually. Yeah, wow. On so many levels. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it depends on my current headspace. Yeah. Some nights I go to bed and I turn the lights off and I'm like, trying to make ghosties. Just kidding, if there's any ghosts here.
I love you guys.
Yeah, I love you. Hope you make it to the other side. Love and peace, yeah. But then some nights if I'm in a dark headspace, it affects it. But then obviously I assume what you mean is, are you scared of the dark? Are you scared of the darkness in your mind? Yeah. The darkness in this world? To be honest, I used to be very scared of my own brain and my own abilities. But now that I have more control and more peace of mind and sobriety and clarity, I don't fear it as much. But again, it depends on my headspace. Yeah. Because the other night I was terrified. Mm-hmm. I'm going to share this with you guys. So the other night, I meant to share this with them anyway. I was going to do it over Instagram, but we're gonna drop it here. Mm-hmm. The other night, Marie and me and our other friend, we were having the most romantic dinner. It was lovely. We were getting deep, obviously, because
as always,
I don't know how to talk about anything else. I'm like, starting childhood, guys, what's up? But we were talking about friendships and trauma and just life. And one of the girls explained that she had gotten a type of therapy here, and she said the word of the therapy. And after assessing the situation, I feel like my body reacted to that, but at the time I didn't know. I just started having what felt like an anxiety attack at first. Mm-hmm. I had a bit of vertigo, and then I got really anxious, and I looked at you and I was like, I don't feel okay. Like, I need to step outside. And then usually I can regulate. I have a bit of water. I do some deep breathing. I distract myself. I think of a time where I was safe and I'm okay. But I was not okay, and you came out to comfort me, and I remember like looking at you with so much fear in my eyes, like being like, I'm not okay. I honestly thought I was roofied, guys. Like, I literally, my arms, my hands went numb. My breathing was fucked up. Like, I was freaked the fuck out. Freaked! And you sat me down and you were like, breathe, it's okay. And I feel like I just ejected so much pain. Yeah. Like, there was so much pain in my soul that I've been stuffing down and not dealing with, that I think it just maxed. Yeah, and it wasn't anything you guys said that triggered me into being like, oh, like I'm anxious. But I do believe that the therapy that Kat got, I think that was the universe's sign of being like, that's the therapy you need. Because I was like, you know, I'd asked for a clear sign a couple weeks ago. Okay. Being like, what kind of therapy, what kind of healing, what do I need? Do I need scream therapy? Do I need to be dunked in a river? Like, somebody do something to help me, because I know I have a lot of pain in me, and I know I have a lot of anger. And for everyone listening who's up to speed with that, like, I've gotten no contact with my parents, and I feel there's a hole in my chest, and I feel like that's why I'm in Bali and I'm trying to heal, and I just keep getting sick, and it's been this vicious cycle of like me versus me. But I think in that moment, I had so much pain, and it just came out, and I've not had that happen before. Ever. Like, I've had panic attacks, things like that, anxiety attacks, but it was like an hour long, and I just was like screaming and crying, and the girls brought me down to the water and they said scream, and I had a hard time with it because I don't know why. I don't know why I can't. It's so hard for me to scream. I feel it's something I've needed to do my whole life. I have so much anger in me from being mistreated from everyone. And I just am so angry. I'm so angry. Even a complete stranger met me the other day, and within a few minutes, he's like, you have anger in you. And I was like, is my aura red? Because it makes sense. What was the giveaway? Was it the way I said the word men? Men. What is it? But I think that was a really powerful moment and beautiful. And we did scream. You made me scream. Yeah. You did not.
But I was surprised about it, because when we how can I say it? Not propose, but when we propose
the idea,
to scream, I saw in your eyes that, I don't know, I felt like we asked you something like so big or so, and it's funny because I've heard you saying several times that you needed to scream, but when you had to do it, when you had the opportunity, could really feel that, you were a little bit scared of what was going to come out, actually. Yeah.
Because I had one, before I came to Bali, I was really frustrated because I was repelling technology, like, to a different level, okay? To a different level. I've talked about it in a few other episodes. Like, things just stopped working. My TV, my air fryer, my phone. Like, I would walk in a room, the lights are not working. What the fuck? Like, weird shit, right? I can't.
I want to use my air fryer.
Yeah, I was heated, bro. It's the little things. I'm like, ah! And, I think the energy clearer that I had seen said you have so much rage in you. From like you have a lot of anger towards your dad, and it's festering in you. You need to let it out. And she actually told me I should scream, and I should, you do this movement no one can see me, I guess, but you, but like kind of like a tennis racket over your head and like hit a pillow. That movement apparently helps you with your anger.
Okay.
So that's what I'm meant to do. But I had a breakdown before Bali because I got a new phone. It wasn't working, of course. And I was just like, bro, what the fuck? And I know it's so small, and I understand it's a privilege problem. But for me, it was just continuous, and it was more than that. It's never the air fryer that broke. It's so much more than that. It's just the last, the straw that broke the camel's back. But I screamed at the top of my lungs, and I scared myself. And I don't know, it felt like something like evil was inside of me, but I don't know if it was like an evil energy that I needed to release, and that's what I felt, or if it's just because I have such a traumatizing correlation to screaming because of my childhood. Okay. I don't know which it is. I know I need to scream, and I can feel that I still have many screams to do. To be fair, I did scream a lot last night at the hospital because of my pain. So I said, give me the blanket. This is a good time to actually scream and not feel weird about it.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Oh. But it's funny because I realized that in our daily life we never scream.
No.
Like, I feel like the only few times I scream, it's when I play like tennis or paddle, but it's not even a real scream. It's a scream like to relieve because you've been like running this one time too much, or like touching the ball really hard. But it's, when do we scream actually?
No, exactly.
Or even the few times where I would really want to scream, it's like when I'm walking, when I pass by some men and they make some comments, but I'm not gonna scream anyway.
Maybe we should start screaming because I feel like, well, in general, but then especially at the men, because we could scare them.
You know what? There's this French girl. I don't know if she's a TikToker or something. I've seen her videos on Instagram. It's brilliant. She's in Paris and some guys are making comments to her and she's making some animals noise. It's so funny. She's like, you know, and she's like so pretty and stuff, and the guy's like, oh, mademoiselle, nanana. She's like, no, I'm gonna find it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die if it's the creator I'm thinking of, because I shared a video a bit back on my Instagram being like, this is how I stay safe solo traveling, and it's this girl and she's got like a ski mask on and she like walks like this over like a fucking T-Rex, and I must have watched it 37 times like an absolute psycho. Like I could not stop laughing. But please, share me the creator. Okay. Your turn to answer.
Wait, I just drink.
Go ahead.
Getting thirsty with all those animals' noises.
Can you read other people's body language? And if so, does it help you understand them?
I feel like I can read more the energy than body languages.
Yes.
But I wish I could do it. And it's funny because during my studies, we had a class where we were supposed to work on our body language and stuff. But we started this class before COVID, and then we had COVID, so it was online, and it didn't make sense anymore, to be honest with you, because I studied communication and journalism during my bachelor's. So
okay.
That's the reason. I wasn't a doctor, because otherwise I would be here. And so that would be interesting to go back at this class or try to look further in that skill, actually.
Totally.
But no, I would say that I read more the energy than the body language.
That's fair.
Yeah.
They've actually done studies too that prove that like body language and like facial, like the faces you make are not actually able to depict emotions unless you know the person very, very well. Like people think they can assume a lot of emotion based off facial structure, facial movements, and it's actually like basically a crock of shit is what the scientists were saying. Okay. It's very interesting. It was in a Huberman episode. I think it was the emotions one. I'll try and drop it on Instagram for you guys to quote it. But it was really fascinating because they were saying there's so many more emotions than we even have words for. Yeah. And there's so much complexities and every person is built so different. It's like impossible to believe that you can read someone's facial expressions. I'm not sure if it was so much body language, but it was more facial expressions. Okay. But I'm with you on the energy thing. I can feel the vibes as you're coming in before I would read the body language. Yeah. Ask me another one. This is fun. I like this.
Yeah, me too.
This is so cool. It's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay. Talk to me.
Be ready?
I'm ready.
Do you lick the yogurt or dessert lid?
What?
I told you there were some crazy.
What did you say? I just didn't understand the second part. Did you lick?
Do you lick?
Do I lick?
The yogurt?
The yogurt?
Or dessert
or
lid?
Dessert.
A lid? You don't say that?
Let me see the question.
L-I-D. Lid?
Do you lick the yogurt or dessert lid? Oh. Wait, like it's meaning like if you're... like if you're eating a tub of ice cream?
No, but like for instance, you have got a yogurt, you have to take the lid off.
Yep.
Do you lick it?
Of course.
Or you don't?
Of course.
Okay.
The people that don't lick it.
Me, I don't lick it. I use my spoon.
Oh, I see. Okay. That took me a long time to understand. Even reading it, I'm like, what? I feel like, no, I would lick it. Okay. For sure. Convenience. I'm impatient when it comes to snacking. I need things immediately. You know?
I don't know what snack you're talking about.
A little bit of both. Okay. What is the last song you danced to?
Oof. It's funny because it was yesterday when I came back from the hospital. So it's funny because I had a really good dinner, so I was excited.
Yeah.
I ordered the dinner when I was leaving the hospital. I was like, I arrive at Nova, the guest house, I have my nice dinner, and after that I just dance in my room. And it was the song No Love by Sente.
I don't know it.
Oh my god, it's one of my favorite songs ever. It's like an English rapper. He's amazing. And this one he's featuring with a woman, I don't remember her name, Mira something. And oh my god, her voice is like honey.
I like that.
It's amazing.
I want to hear it after.
So good.
You're gonna dance for me?
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not sure if the mic is picking this up, but there is a thunderstorm brewing outside. I hope it's a big one. I like thunderstorms.
Yeah, you do?
I do. When I'm safe.
Yeah.
Not
outside.
No, not outside. Okay.
So, your turn.
Okay.
Oof. I don't know how to pronounce it. What's your favorite aisles in the supermarket?
Aisles, yeah.
Aisles?
Yep. Ooh.
That's funny.
That is good. Yeah, that's random. I feel like I love home decor.
Okay.
So I feel like I would be like home decor first. And then the treat aisle. Candy aisle. It's just so fun. Even if I don't get anything, I just go down and look and see what's up.
So you're just gonna go and you're not gonna pick anything. I don't believe it. She says that, and right before recording this episode, we went to the supermarket.
True.
No, Circle K.
Yep.
And she took a bottle of water, one Diet Coke, Coke Zero. No,
Coke Zero, yep.
Coke Zero, of course. And one Mentos,
yep.
And some gums.
Yep, that's true.
So don't tell me you wouldn't pick anything. I don't believe
Sometimes I wouldn't, but for the most part, yeah. But my go-to treat when I'm back home in Canada is Smart Sweets because it's like a healthier version of candy.
Okay.
And it's helped me because I feel like sometimes I can just binge on the sugar.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's a bit out of control. But I do love me a good Mento. Ooh. What does your communication style say about you?
Oof.
Oof, hey?
Oh, la, 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 la.
Oh, la, 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 la. I like that. Oh, la, 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 la.
I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to improve my communication because I used to be really direct, really raw, maybe too much. I could sound a little bit
too blunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so I feel like now I try to work on that. And also there is this book that my therapist recommended me to read. And I feel like I started it several times, but I never read it until the end. I don't know why. Maybe because it's too complicated, but it's like the non-violent communication by Franklin Marshall.
Okay.
And it's actually really interesting, and I remember a few things. And it's, for example, you're gonna talk to someone, you shouldn't say, oh, you did that made me feel like this. You should always talk about yourself, about how you're feeling.
Yes.
I'm feeling like that because when you did that, that's how I felt. You know, you cannot do, oh, you did this, that,
correct.
That. I'm feeling like this because when you did this action, and I'm trying to use that, for instance.
Yeah, that's honestly very good. That's something I learned in therapy as well. And I feel like when you take the ownership of your own feelings, because your own feelings are your own responsibility, you know? People can trigger you, but how you respond is totally you. And I think sometimes it can create less defensiveness with the other person. If you're not saying, you made me feel this way, automatically your guard's up. Where if you're like, I felt this way when this happened.
Yeah.
You know, how did you mean to say that? Like, you know, that's cool. I like that.
And I like that you said that our feelings is our own... on our own responsibility, because that's true. I could do something like and you could react a certain way, but someone else would not care at all, for instance. So because we're all just built so different. We have different triggers. There's certain things, like I don't like my face being touched. There's certain things that I don't like, that I would react, and it doesn't mean you're wrong for doing it. It just means each person is different, but that's why it's important to take responsibility for your own thing. So true. Your turn.
Yes.
Okay.
Update, we've seen some lightning.
Yeah,
that was a big one, hey? Yeah.
The quickest way to make you feel crazy is...
Oh,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Calling me crazy, baby. You call me crazy, it's game over. I'll show you crazy, bitch. You've just manifested crazy. Oh my God, the way I'm getting gassed up thinking about it. Literally, my blood pressure's through the roof right now. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. No, I'm freaking out. No, I feel like, yeah, that can, well, there's a few things.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few things. If you like call me crazy.
I know one of them.
Tell me.
If a man call you crazy,
yeah,
then you're gonna switch.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. And yeah, and if also like if a man I don't know has any tries to claim any type of ownership over me, I don't like that. I would say a lot of them are male based.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's I think the only thing that a female could do that would like really set me off is just diminishing my I don't like my feelings being diminished, to make me feel, I guess, crazy. You know, devalidating it. But I think for the most part, a lot of my triggers come from men, if I'm being honest with everyone here. A lot of them come from that. And, well, I think they've been the reasons I've been pushed to my limit, too. Like, it's not so much my female relationships have not done that to me as much. But the men have. But yeah, calling me crazy is
So you see it as a bad thing. When someone calls you crazy, you see it as a bad thing.
I guess it depends the tone of it. Depends the context. When I think of this, I think of a man being like, "You're fucking crazy." Yeah. And I'd be like,
yeah. That's crazy because what you're saying right now about crazy, me, I have that more with the word stupid.
Ah, stupid. That's your trigger. Okay.
Crazy, I don't take it as, like you said, it's maybe because it depends how people are saying it. For instance, right now I'm seeing a guy in Bali and he's always telling me that I'm crazy. And at first I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I don't know, you're so blunt, or you're gonna do things right away, or you're gonna do crazy stuff, not thinking about how people would think about you. And I like when he says that because it's true, I like being, to me it's not crazy, it's more maybe spontaneous. But what you just explained with crazy, I have the same feeling, but for the word stupid. Yeah, I cannot handle it.
That's fair.
Yeah. So violent.
It is. And it could be culture difference too, right? Like in North America, I think crazy is usually we're meaning you're insane. Yeah. You're unwell. It's usually that's the tone of it. And maybe stupid in like Belgium is like the bottom of the, like some, I know in some cultures, I think even in like the UK, like calling someone an idiot is just like the lowest form of, but for us it's like, it's not as deep. Okay. So I think it's interesting too, it can be a culture thing that. True. But I think the tone, the context, when it's said, plays a huge. Because if like someone's like, "You're crazy, girl," I'd be like, "Oh no," and I'd own it. But like my immediate thought is like a man and calling me crazy in the heat of a moment or heat of an argument. Because
it's so funny because what we just said, I think it's really based on our experience.
Totally.
And things that happen to us and kind of like traumas too.
Totally.
So interesting.
Yeah. So that's a perfect example of someone being in a room with us and calling me stupid and you crazy. We'd be fine. Yeah. Or vice versa. It'd be very different.
That's so interesting.
It is, eh? This is why I think communication is so important. And just hearing each other. Yeah. Hearing each other's perspectives without judgment and trying to like just resolve an issue versus trying to be right. I think that's like the best advice I was ever given when having debates with people or arguments, disagreements in relationships, like not fighting to be right, fighting to like find a solution. Yeah. You know? I think people can lose sight of that. It's me to ask you. Okay.
Yeah. Just gonna move the pillow.
Anyways. Oh my God, some of these are actually like so funny and so intense and so random. Okay, what's the most recent self-discovery you've uncovered?
Self-discovery. I think it's I think I had a lot, but the biggest one, or the one that might have the most impact, is the fact that I think I would like to become sober.
Yeah.
We talked about it,
I know.
but
I'm so proud though.
I'm really.
It's our first conversation we had.
Yeah, that's the first one we had.
And I don't want back to dance. Oh, girl, I trust. No, I've met people who are curious about going sober. You are like, I feel that's what you want. I feel that's the path for your life.
That's what I need. To be honest.
Agree.
That's what I need right now. And yeah, the only thing that I really hope is that I'm not gonna recover from my sickness and just forget about it, because I feel like it's so easy when you're at your lowest to be like, okay, I want to change this, this, I understood that about myself, and then you recover, you're healthy again, and you're like back at the club.
Yep.
Vodka for me.
Yeah. But as you know, after partying with me, you can party in the club. You can shut it down just on water. Sometimes sparkling water. With a hint of lime. I know I like to spice it up in the evening. No, I think that's a wonderful self-discovery, and our conversation was very powerful, the first one we had, about just you feeling like you just kept voicing your concerns. I think you were like, I'm really interested in this, but here's all my concerns. And I was just like, okay, this is my answer to this, my answer to this. But I was just like combating them. I'm like, no, I got you.
And I feel like I always had another one. And I was like, yes, but if you have an... And you always had an answer, actually.
Yeah, because I've been through it, done it. And it's just a matter of conditioning your brain. We've been conditioned to believe that alcoholism is normal.
Cool.
Because that is a matter of fact. I think a lot of cultures are like drinking, but alcoholism isn't just drinking every day. It's drinking and not being able to stop. It's drinking to cope. It's like there's so many other, things to it. And I feel like a lot of cultures, especially from traveling and meeting people from all over, it's all very similar.
Yeah.
And it's deeply concerning.
It is. Yeah.
I'm excited to see your journey unfold with that. And
me too.
I really believe in you. I really believe you're going to go sober, and I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to discover this whole other... You're going to discover you, bitch. I guess what is going to happen? You learn so much more about yourself and so much more about what you authentically want, and then your entire life just becomes this magnet of things that actually make sense to you.
Yeah.
You're in less stressful situations because you're not making decisions when you're drinking poison.
Hangover.
Exactly.
That's
exhausted,
true.
Desperate, anything like...
Because at first I was like, but I didn't make so many decisions while being drunk. And then I was like, but all the time you were hangover, These
true.
are, like we said, like the relationships, like I ended up with some relationships because I met them when I was drunk. Like some of my relationships, like my last boyfriend, which I have a lot of respect for, we stayed together for almost 3 years. But the fucking first time we met, I was drunk. I don't even remember the first time I met my ex-boyfriend. It's quite shocking to me when I think about it.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was just funny, and I don't know, when people would ask us, how did you meet? We would just not tell the truth. But to us, that was like an inside joke. But at the end of the day, it's not funny. I don't know. It's odd.
It is. And I don't say that with judgment, obviously,
No.
But I feel like one of my issues was not necessarily meeting... Well, I would meet them drunk, of course, too, but I would hook up with them drunk.
That's what I meant. We met and we hooked up.
And you don't remember any of that?
No, you remember the next day you have a stranger in your bed. And I mean, it's just crazy to think I ended up seeing him and being with him in a real relationship for 3 years. But
is that even someone you wanted to attract? Because I believe, like I said, like I can love a lot of people. That's why I have to be very selective with who I let in my corner, because especially you've got a lot of love to give as well. So
and also I've been thinking about it a lot, also because we are in Bali and people are dating a lot. But I realized that all my dating life, there is always like alcohol involved, And so, like you said, you attract people that you maybe don't really want to attract, or that you don't really want to connect with, but just because you're drunk, your vibration is lower, I know, and I feel like for me that was such a challenge. Like,
I'd like to actually drop an episode on like traveling while sober, because I think it'd be really interesting for people to hear that POV and the interactions I've had, the conversations I've had, the depth that it brings, and even just like hooking up with people sober. Like it wasn't something I did until my last Asia trip. It's just crazy. 31, I had not hooked up with anyone sober. Not to say like obviously when I was dating and in love with them, we weren't drinking all the time, but to have like one night stands or just like, you know, casual sex with someone, I had to be wasted. I didn't have to be, but that's what I told myself. That's what I was conditioned to believe. So
I remember we talked about it a few days ago. That I think this time it's the first time I have sex with someone that is not my boyfriend while being sober. And that I was stressed about that. Yeah. It's crazy to think about. I couldn't think I would be able to have sex with a one night stand while being sober.
Same.
It's a little bit sad, no?
It's sad and it's scary. And I think it's even crazier that is more normalized than you not drinking.
Yeah, of course.
And that is more judged.
And also you can start thinking about questions with like consentment and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. It's more like people are going to judge you for not drinking versus you being like, oh, I got blackout and I hooked up with this guy. People are going to, oh, that's so funny.
Have you had sex?
That's so funny.
Don't remember.
Ha ha ha. But you're like, I'm not going to drink. Fucking weird.
Yeah. Allez, Marie, come, just one beer. Huh?
Yeah. Okay, your turn.
Do you make a pros and cons list or just go with your gut?
Ooh, depends on the situation, depends on the decision at hand. Sometimes I just go with my gut because sometimes I don't always know why my gut is saying no. My therapist is always like, remove yourself from the situation. If it feels wrong, dissect it later. But if it's a big decision that I'm aware of, maybe the consequences or the pros to it, I will then write out a list. But she also gave me, my therapist being she, gave me some good advice to weight the pros and cons. So it's not just like,
yes.
You know what I mean? He's good in bed, he's a serial killer. Those cannot weigh the same. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, true, that's a good point. So to weight them like out of 10 as well. So mathematics involved, but pretty basic math. Even for me, I was able to figure it out. So it's okay for everyone, I think. But yeah. Okay. Yep. Depends on the situation. Depends.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Ooh, this is a good one.
Okay.
What does peace mean to you?
Ooh.
I like these questions, buddy.
Peace.
Peace. What does peace mean to you, baby?
It's funny because when I hear this word, I imagine a situation. Mm-hmm. I imagine myself laying down on the beach with like the sun on my skin and hearing the waves. So yeah. I think it's something I'm maybe lacking right now in my daily life, for sure. That's for sure. But to be honest, I feel like lately it's been an emotional roller coaster.
Totally.
It's like my health things, insurance being involved, money, paperwork, all that stuff. So it's been hard. But I guess that's when things are going to be better, which I think they are already a little bit better, to be honest. I think I'm on the right path. And just like we talked about it at the beginning, I think my goal is really to be able to still go through those things because I know it's going to come back. Like, it's life, it's normal.
It's life,
I'm going to have other problems. Mm-hmm. It's okay, but just I want to be able to deal with them, to deal with them with more peace.
Yeah. And just and more grounding, totally. And that's why I think peace is a good goal instead of happiness.
Yeah.
Because if you're at peace, you can still have a range of emotions and be...
But it's funny that you're talking about grounding because I feel like when I'm losing my peace, when I get really anxious about a situation, I feel like I'm not feeling my legs anymore. So it's really funny that you're using the word grounded because I feel like I cannot be this like strong tree in the ground anymore. I can't feel my legs and I have this feeling in my stomach and I feel like I'm going in the air actually, like a air balloon, you know?
Air balloon.
So it's funny that you're using that word.
When you're at peace, you feel that way? Or do you feel like that right now, you're meaning?
I mean, I think to be at peace, I would feel like a strong tree.
You would feel like you could feel your legs. Right now you feel a bit like you're floating through.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel that when I'm not at peace, I feel very ungrounded. And sometimes like I'm falling into an abyss. When I'm in a deep state of emotion, I feel like I'm in a black hole and I'm just...
Girl, same. You know this feeling when you have those dreams and you feel that you're falling down something?
And you just kind of jolt away?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I have when I'm really, really anxious or the situation gets crazy. Yeah.
I feel like it makes so much sense. That's how I would describe anxiety. Like you just are free falling in darkness by yourself and you don't know when it's going to end and there's no fucking logic around.
Oh my God.
Scary.
Don't like it?
I say we each ask one more question to each other and then we wrap it up and then we go have dinner. There you go. Ask me.
Ooh la la.
Oh my God.
we went from like something really deep to what's your favorite pizza topping?
Oh, I feel like I love so many different pizzas. I will have just about anything on my pizza. And I am someone who loves pineapple on pizza.
Girl, same.
You are? Yes!
I wanted to see it and I was like, oh, maybe I should have.
Oh my God.
Judgment.
No, never. I feel like it belongs on pizza. It belongs other places as well, but it belongs on pizza. And I think the only thing I wouldn't eat is like fish or something on my pizza. Maybe anchovies or something.
Like shrimps or something?
To be fair... Yeah, I've tried shrimp on it, but anchovies, I feel like I've always heard of anchovy pizza.
No,
I don't know if it's a common thing.
I don't know. I think it is actually. I think my father is getting that when we go to the pizza place.
I've never tried it, but it freaks me out. But I would say just about anything.
Okay.
But my favorite go-to, like if I were home right now, I would get Pizza Hut.
Okay.
Extra cheese, light sauce, stuffed crust with cheese pizza.
Oh,
that's so like good. The cheese melted together, the flavors, light sauce is...
And some garlic bread on the side.
Yes, garlic bread. And some sauce as well, like garlic ranch or something.
Even if it hurts your palate. I don't know the word.
Like if it's too hot?
No, I think I don't know. I always have that with the garlic bread. It hurts my... I think it's because it's too crunchy or something.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. You need to have it more soft. That lightning was wild. I just seen a crazy streak. All right, how are we going to end this?
What's your favorite milkshake?
Yeah, no shit. Do you want... Oh, actually, I'm going to ask you. Do you want deep or light? Do you want a deep question? Or do you want to finish it on a light note?
I don't know. As you want, really.
I feel like...
It's your podcast.
I'm going to do a light one to match the pizza one. And then we'll each do one more deep. How does that sound? Can you solve a Rubik's Cube?
No, I can't.
Me neither. I think it's fucked up. I love that people can do it, but like I'm not people.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't understand it, and I don't want to understand it.
No, same.
There are some things like that. I don't want to spend time and energy.
Totally.
My brother is playing chess with my grandparents.
Yeah.
I love that. I love watching them doing it. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. That's so smart. I've never tried. I've never wanted to learn. They were like, do you want to learn? I was like, no. I'm playing with the cats and the dogs. I'm totally fine. And I don't know, like...
I feel like there's a lot of reasons why I like fuck with you as a person and love you, but I feel like my audience at this point in the episode is definitely like, yeah, this friendship makes sense. Like you're just very like honest. We're so similar in that way. Like if I'm not interested, I'm not retaining it.
Yeah, same.
No, I don't want to learn. Sometimes I've gotten honest with being like, I'm not interested in this conversation. I think we should switch the subject, or maybe you could talk about it with someone who's more passionate about it. Or if I don't have capacity in that moment, I'd just be like, I would love to reserve this conversation for when I have capacity and I can give you my attention.
But on the other side, sometimes I'm really interested about something really random, like this old lady telling me about the brand of her plastic bag from the supermarket. I don't know, like something really random, and I'm gonna get interested, and we're gonna talk about it for like 15 minutes on the bus. Yeah. But learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube, I'm sorry, but...
I wonder if you're interested in that because you're interested in people and connection.
Maybe,
so that's probably what is the root of it, whereas a Rubik's Cube has it's not a person, there's no interesting story there, it's just a square.
Yeah. But I like Sudoku.
Oh yeah, Sudoku. That's the fanciest way I've ever heard Sudoku said. Sudoku. Sudoku.
It sounds like a brand, like
it does. It sounds like something. Yeah, it does.
Sudoku.
I love it. Okay, one last question for me.
Okay,
something deep. A deep one. and then I'll do one more for you, and then we'll wrap this puppy up.
Okay. Oh, I like this one actually. I think it's a really nice way to end the piece.
Okay, tell me.
What is the best thing about being your gender?
What is the best thing about being my gender? Oh, that's a good one. I have so much to say about women and being a woman. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
It's your podcast.
Yeah. I feel like we are just such beautiful creatures. I feel we're works of art. We are so emotional. We are so in touch with our feelings and our emotion, and often can be our feminine side too, and we feel safe too. I feel like the fact that we can give life and birth life, like one of my best friends has had a baby recently, and I'm just, it's such a beautiful experience to watch. Like, I just feel like we're magnetic, we're beautiful, we're fucking brave, I fucking love women so much. There's so much about being a woman that is to be proud of. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so cool too, because I feel like obviously we've shifted drastically in the last 100 years over our rights and what we're able to do. And I feel like more now than ever, there's so much women empowerment and standing up for one another and just hyping each other. And because there's room for all of us to win. Yes. Yeah. And we can all be beautiful, and we can all do this, and we can all have businesses, and we can all be successful, and we can all, be confident without it threatening someone else's. And I just think it's so beautiful. I love the point that we're at right now with women. And I just, I love how connected to nature we are. I love, even though it's a bitch to get a period, it's so fascinating and interesting that we can do that and our bodies can do that. Yeah. It's so beautiful. And to be proud of it, I think for a lot of things we can be shamed for, like masturbation or owning our sexuality without being labeled a whore or something like that. I think just stepping in to just, exploring your sexuality and exploring your body and having no guilt in that. I feel like I've the most proud of being a woman that I've ever been right now, because I've allowed myself not to feel shame for wanting to do those things. And I think being raised in religious homes, there's a lot of like sexual trauma just coming from the fact that it's very repressed and you're not allowed to feel a certain way or masturbate or do any of these things. And it's just stepping out of that and really just like loving myself, and to such a level that I'm not threatened by other women like I used to be. Now I can just be like, you're gorgeous, I hope you have a great day. And it doesn't hurt me before it used to when I didn't love myself. So I just think we're just forces. Mother Nature, right?
Yeah. We are kind of magical in a
we
certain
are
way.
Not kind of, we're full on Harry Potter
Hermione.
Hermione.
I'm so proud I was able to say it in like English way, because in French we say Hermione, and so the first time I heard Hermione, I was like, what the fuck is this person? We didn't watch the same Harry Potter or read the same books, like.
Oh. Okay, what life lesson was the hardest to learn?
Oof.
Yeah. Take your time with it.
I think it would be that at the end of the day, we are by ourselves. Mm-hmm. I think I realized we are surrounded by people, especially when you travel a lot. I think that's really something you experience. You're by yourself. You're surrounded by people. For instance, you're one of them here in my journey in Bali. And I'm so grateful for it.
Same.
But at the end of the day, I know I'm by myself. And I think it's a really hard one to learn. It was hard to learn back home when I was surrounded by my friends, people I used to be close to, close to, because I've lost some of them, or we are not friends anymore. We don't even communicate anymore because we just went on different journeys, different paths, which is okay. I've learned to deal with it, but it's a hard one, I think, to learn.
Totally.
We talked about it the other time, and I said that my breakup with one of my ex-best friend was harder than my breakup with my ex-boyfriend, actually. So that's the reason why I'm thinking it's really hard. But I think it's true.
Totally.
I think it's true, and it's not. I'm not saying that in a really dark way,
No.
by ourselves, we shouldn't connect with anyone in life. No, it's just how it is. We came on this earth by ourselves, and we're gonna live by ourselves. And I think it's so important to remember that in friendships, but in relationships too. And that's why I try to. I mean, right now I'm not in a relationship, and I think before getting in a new one, I need to improve so many things about myself and learn so many things about myself for that single reason, actually. Because even if I end up finding the perfect partner, I want to be fine by myself. I want to be okay by myself, because at the end of the day, even if the person leaves or dies,
no, but it's true.
I'm gonna be by myself, and
you have to be confident with that.
Exactly. So that's the hardest one, I think.
I love that, and I would say that's probably very similar to, I would say, mine. Just realizing that we are all we've got. I think for a long time I wanted people to save me. There's a big part of me. I think there's a big part of everyone, especially if you've had a rough upbringing. You just want to be saved.
Yeah.
But realizing you are on your own is a tough one to swallow. But once you realize it, you get ahead of it and you work on it and you nurture that relationship with you. And now I fucking love it. I love being alone. I love traveling alone. I love being able to control my own space and energy and vibe, and know when to remove myself or when to be around people. It's a very powerful thing. To be okay if it happens, to be okay if it doesn't. It's a very powerful place to be. And you get there by being so okay with you. It's okay if this relationship doesn't end up the way I want it to, because I've got me.
And it's funny because at the beginning of the podcast, I asked yourself if you were your worst enemy. But I think that's the goal, to be our best friend, you know?
Yes.
I think that's the goal.
Totally
fine with ourselves, and to be. And I can really feel the difference, because before I used to be like really my worst enemy. Now I'm still a little bit mean to me sometimes, but I'm working on that. And I think I'm really getting to know myself more and more. And I think I can truly say that I'm becoming my best friend.
I love that.
Yeah, it's still the beginning of our friendship.
Of course, it's still your new friends.
Yeah, new.
And honestly, the sobriety thing will catapult that.
Yeah, you think?
Oh yeah, you grow so quickly into who you're meant to be and in alignment with yourself when you're sober, because you're clear. You're making all your decisions clearly. There's no suppressing of emotions. There's no confusing of emotions. There's no delaying.
Yeah.
Like there's no attracting different people that are not right for you. Like it just stops the negative and like increases the positive. Not saying both are, can exist, but it really catapults it.
But also I think it's hard in our society, because I feel like we are in those groups, friend groups, families, community, if you do a certain sport, religious communities, all those groups. And once you understand that even if you're in those groups, that you're by yourself, I think that's a really hard one.
It is.
And sometimes it can be also dangerous to be in those groups, because you're with your family, so you think, I'm not alone, but sometimes you just feel and you notice that you're not thinking the same way than them.
Yeah.
Or acting the same way than them, and so you feel by yourself. And
you can feel alone in big groups.
Exactly.
If you don't feel at home with you, you're gonna feel alone with other people.
Exactly. And there is like this French lyric that I love and that resonates a lot with me. It's seul avec du monde autour, and it means alone with people around you. And I've noticed that's how I felt my entire life, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. But now I'm starting to feel okay with that. Then when I was younger, I would just try to change myself to be able to be like the others, or pull those people towards me.
Yeah.
And now I'm just trying to accept that and be fine to be seul avec du monde autour.
I love that. And you will find your people and attract your people by just being authentically you.
Yeah.
People that don't make you feel alone when you spend time with them.
Yeah.
If you feel alone with the people you're spending time with, assess the people you're spending time with. Assess the relationship you have with yourself. Most importantly, take yourself on dates, treat yourself. Like, treat yourself like you would someone you love dearly.
That's so true.
That's the best way I can frame it to people that are trying to find self-love, is treat yourself the way you would treat even a child at times. A little girl, Ayu, the local's daughter that you met on the beach. Like, play, run, have fun, get her ice cream, do things that you know.
Yeah, that's so true.
I love that. This has been beautiful. This was such an impromptu decision. We just sat down with the book and on this miniature little travel mic, and this has been wonderful. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you to you.
Yes, I'm so grateful I met you. So grateful we did this.
Me too.
So lovely. And thank you to all of you for tuning in. And I'll tag your Instagram as well for people to find you too and follow along your journey. And until next time, guys, have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing. Love y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I loved having you. If you wish to support this podcast, please follow us so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on social media at Full Minded Podcast. Please visit our website at www.fullmindedpodcast.com to submit all your questions. If you wish to be a guest on this podcast, please fill out the form on our website to apply. Your continued support means the world, so thank you again for taking the time out of your day to tune into Full Minded with Alyssa Bette. Until next time, be kind to yourselves and remember that there is power in owning our imperfect and messy lives. It's all a part of the human experience, and you're not alone in it.